lawyer. Speak to me.
Wrapped with pain, can't move.
You're joking.
But what about Mr. Krabs' case?
Looks like you're gonna have to handle this one, son.
But I'm a liability.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
Hey guys, it's Mikayla and welcome to another video. Today is a very exciting video because I will be reacting to the trial in Spongebob Squarepants. You heard that right. I have literally no recollection of this, and trust me, I've been watching SpongeBob since I was a kid, though I haven't watched it in a while. But this episode is not new. It came out in 2005 and it's titled Krabs versus Plankton, so I think we all know what that means. If you're new here, I am a real life lawyer and I love making YouTube videos where I give my reactions to legal content. We're talking analysis, we're talking commentary, we're talking education, okay? Something a lot of SpongeBob episodes might lack. So welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're not, and before we get into this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified of when I post new videos. And with that, let's get into this absolute battle. If you know anything about SpongeBob, Krabs, and Plankton, I couldn't think of a better duo myself to go against each other in a trial.
And so passes another sleepless night, haunted by my inability to steal even a single Krabby Patty.
Maybe today will be the day.
Thank you for your patronizing words, computer wife.
Do you even have a plan?
Plan? Schman, I'm gonna wing it. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there because I already see a motive forming. If you've ever seen a single episode of SpongeBob, you probably know that Plankton's sole mission, and I mean sole mission in life, is to get his hands on that Krabby Patty secret formula. And Mr. Krabs is not having it. How that's going to somehow tie into a trial, I have no idea, but I can tell you right now that's probably going to be behind it.
I'm in. That was easy. Maybe today is the day I'm gonna steal the Krabby Patty.
Gotta love the
from
optimism.
you.
Careful, Plankton, I just mopped there.
Look at you, Plankton. Once again, you've fallen flat on your back in another pathetic attempt to steal me formula.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys 2 seconds to try and think of the claim that Plankton's probably going to bring here. 1, 2. Slip and fall. A slip and fall case is a type of premises liability case, and it's under the umbrella of personal injury, which happens to be the type of law I do. Slip and falls, trip and falls, whatever it may be, you will be claiming that the premises at which you were injured was negligent in some way. You can see that there is a humongous puddle on the ground. And what's missing, ladies and gents? A wet floor sign, perhaps? SpongeBob is just mopping away with absolutely no warning in sight to his customers. And that warning is going to be a very important element because had there been a wet floor sign, he would have put his customers on notice of the hazard. But looking here, I'm not seeing any warnings. So far, I don't know. Plankton might have a legitimate case. We'll see. Let's see.
Though you tried and tried, you haven't had the smallest nibble of my delicious formula. And you never will. How do you sleep at night knowing you're a complete failure?
He doesn't
There really
sleep.
should be a wet floor sign.
Yeah, if that were me who slipped, I'd sue old man Krabs for all he's got.
Okay, you guys heard it yourselves. Listen, everybody knows the type of guy Plankton is, okay? He's whiny, he's annoying, he's a big jerk depending on the episode. However, this unbiased patron of the establishment was even able to say, hey, there should have been a wet floor sign there. Leading the other fish to say, if it was me, I would sue. And that's probably gonna be all Plankton needs to get in his head in order for this lawsuit to commence. So we're starting to see how it forms here.
Does that include the Krabby Patty formula?
Of course.
Oh, the pain! I can't feel my arms and legs. I think they're broken. I'll have to sue for my pain and suffering.
Sue!
Oh, that looks bad.
Uh-oh.
Poor little man.
Oh my God. Okay, lot to unpack there. First off, you heard Plankton say that he wants to sue specifically to obtain the secret formula. So what went off in my head immediately was that Plankton wants to sue for specific performance. In a civil lawsuit, you sue for monetary damages. You're asking for money. You're asking to be paid for your losses. But asking for a specific action to occur that is not monetary in nature is typically something only recoverable when it's a breach of contract claim. And of course, that varies state by state. I happen to be in Florida, but regardless, that's not something you would typically sue for in a slip and fall case. Now, if Plankton happens to get a creative lawyer, perhaps he can make an argument, not necessarily a strong one, but an argument that Mr. Krabs had a duty. He had a non-verbal contract to his patrons to provide them with a safe dining experience. And in allowing a wet puddle to remain on the floor for an unidentified period of time with no warning, he breached the duty in that non-written contract. That's the best I can think of on the spot, but I'm sure because this is SpongeBob, they're going to sue for that recipe. Just know in real life, that's typically not how it goes. We also saw Plankton immediately upon thinking of a lawsuit. Everything's now broken. His arms, his legs, he's just crumbling. And I think that's what leads to personal injury getting a bad rep, because it's rumored that clients often fake their injuries, or in this case, exaggerate them to an extreme degree. I also want to point out, when you guys saw all of those people walk over and start giving commentary, oh my gosh, did you see that? Wow, he looks really hurt. Now Plankton has witnesses. He has witnesses that can support the fact that they saw him fall, they saw the incident occur, and they can physically see how much agonizing pain he's in. Now, while we're in an age where people get really, really weird with filming and cameras in public and all of that stuff, this is a good reason why it can be very beneficial to have security cameras in your establishment. I don't know if Mr. Krabs does. We'll get into that later if he happens to pull that out. But if he doesn't, that alone could have prevented whatever claims Plankton is probably going to make. If you can see on camera that he slips, falls, and just kind of lays there and chills for a second and then starts creaking and cracking, yeah, that's gonna be a key piece of evidence.
Oh, hold up a second.
Not the
We don't need
stretcher.
to drag this little incident into court, do we?
Well, if you transfer the Krabby Patty formula to me, I'll forget your gross negligence.
Scoundrel! You'll have my formula when you pry it from me lifeless claws!
See you in court, Krabs! I mean, oh, the pain! The deep frying pain!
Oh my God. Okay. Plankton hit the nail on the head with the term gross negligence. Like, he's already drafting the complaint in his head. Now, what we did just see is teetering the line of blackmail, which, yeah, not great. And if I were Krabs, I would be getting the names of information of those two paramedics to have them testify on my behalf that Plankton's faking his injuries. But it looks like this is going to court. So let's see.
I'm in a blue ruin. I'm doomed.
Don't worry, Mr. Krabs. I will do whatever it takes to keep the Krusty Krab formula from getting into Plankton's evil hands.
What I really need is a good lawyer.
Whoa,
Yes.
Did somebody say lawyer? Richard A. Bottomfeeder, attorney at law. I couldn't help but notice that despicable display.
So, how much is this gonna cost me?
Actually, I won't charge a dime unless we win. In fact, I think we should counter-sue for everything Plankton owns. Does that
Oh
happen
my
a lot?
God.
No, they're usually silver.
Okay. So first of all, yes, what this attorney just described is called a contingency fee. Personal injuries work on what's called contingency, and that literally means we do not get paid until you get paid. Meaning there's no hourly rate that our clients are charged for our representation of their personal injury suit. Instead, personal injuries take a percentage of whatever money they are able to obtain in pursuit of your case. So that was very accurate, which we love. The countersuit, however, is very interesting, very atypical, and I'm not really sure where he's going with that. So let's see.
Oh, Mr. Krabs?
What is it, lad?
I thought you might want to hear my testimony for when you call me as a character witness. I've been rehearsing it.
Actually, SpongeBob, we won't be needing any testimony from you. Why, you'd be more of a, of a liability than an asset.
But
Now run along, make things shipshape for my victory
Interesting.
celebration. I've got to get to the courthouse early. There's only a few free parking places.
Okay, so that's very interesting. SpongeBob did offer to be a character witness, and it is pretty much what it sounds like. The purpose of his testimony would be to testify that Mr. Krabs is an honest and trustworthy person, that he has good moral character, is credible, and can be believed by the jury. But again, if you've ever seen an episode of SpongeBob, he's not the most emotionless, stable character, if you will. He can be very passionate, and I can definitely see that being a liability, as Mr. Krabs described on the witness stand, if he decides to go off book and just start saying a bunch of crazy things to try to defend Mr. Krabs. But it was a nice gesture.
Oh, this is gonna be a slam dunk.
Oh no! Mr. Krabs' lawyer, speak to me!
Wrapped with pain, can't move.
You're joking.
What about Mr. Krabs' case?
Looks like you're gonna have to handle this one, son.
But I'm a liability.
Everything you need to win is in this here case.
Really? Everything?
Everything but a suit.
A suit. Wonder where I could get a suit.
Okay. What? I'm sorry. The personal injury lawyer defending Mr. Krabs in his slip and fall case had a slip and fall occur in the exact same manner, in the exact same location as Plankton, the plaintiff. First of all, has Mr. Krabs not learned anything? If Plankton were to find out about this subsequent fall, that would be the bread and butter of his evidence, okay? And I'm sure Mr. Krabs would try to keep that out, but he clearly has a pattern of hazardous behavior at his restaurant. That's crazy. Now moving on to the SpongeBob representing him situation. TV shows and video games, if you've been watching my Ace Attorney playthrough series here on my channel, have a habit of having people represent clients that are not lawyers. You can't just be like, oh, hey friend, I'll do you this favor and be your attorney for the day. Like, that's literally not how it works. What you can do is represent yourself, which is called representation pro se. And that would be if Mr. Krabs was being his own lawyer, which, as I've said in many videos in the past, I would never recommend doing. So this whole SpongeBob representing him thing, very unrealistic, but I'm sure will make for very good TV.
I'll give you one last chance. I'll drop the charges if you give me the formula.
Never, you little whelp!
Ow, ow, my little arm!
What? No! I didn't lay a claw on him!
Ow, my other arm! Ow!
He's
This is ridiculous.
Court will come to order. The Honorable Judge Stickleback presiding.
Okay, let's kind of look at the courtroom scene here. So like in real life, you have an audience. If you guys didn't know, you often can just walk into a courtroom and observe the trial that's going on. Not always, but a lot of the time you can. It looks like we have a judge, an honorable magistrate, if you will, and we have a 10-fish jury, which is very interesting. Typically it's 6, but you know, it's TV. And plaintiff is doing something very smart, which is garnering sympathy. He rolled in a wheelchair, which was potentially unnecessary because it did not look like he had any casts on his legs. But he knew that doing that would garner attention and sympathy from those observing him, and that was a smart move on his part. It's a very common tactic in trial. And it looks like we have a little fish bailiff too, so hopefully we don't end up needing them.
Mr. Krabs, where is your attorney?
I don't know where he could be.
Here I am.
Thank you for joining
Got
us,
himself a
Mr.
suit!
SpongeBob lawyer pants, Your Honor.
Look at his little
What are
suit!
you doing here, SpongeBob?
Your lawyer fell down on the job. But don't worry, Mr. Krabs. I have everything under control. It's all in here.
Really?
Yep, right in
Let's
here.
hope so.
Is there a
Oh,
problem?
you're not gonna be able to open it.
Your lawyer didn't give me the
Oh
combination.
my
Is
gosh.
the plaintiff ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll try. Ow, 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 ow.
Garnering
I
sympathy.
wasn't always the tortured shell of a protozoa that
Oh.
writhes in pain before you today.
He does have leg casts.
was a vibrant, carefree, happy-go-lucky single cell.
That's a good opening so far.
Then came the fateful day that I paid an innocent visit to the death trap known as the Krusty Krab.
How's it coming, lad?
Don't worry, Mr. Krabs. I'm on the case.
Upon entering said establishment, I found myself, without any warning, slipping and finally falling onto a hard, unforgiving floor that had been intentionally covered with a viscous fluid.
Bombs away!
Okay, so while SpongeBob is doing whatever he's doing, this is a great opening statement so far. Again, I have similar feelings and thoughts as to why Plankton does not have a lawyer and the fact that he should. However, his opening statement right now is going very well. He's garnering sympathy. He's humanizing himself. He's telling a story. He said he was a poor little innocent, vibrant cell just wanting a burger that day. He brought up the fact that there was no warning of the puddle, and he's now making a claim that this was all intentional. And intentional torts are a whole different conversation, but I did find that very interesting that he mentioned that. Now let's see if SpongeBob gets this dang briefcase open.
Ahem! Are you quite finished? Where was I? Oh yeah. But the worst part is my dreams of completing a marathon like I promised my old Grammy have been dashed. I'm sorry, Grab.
Okay, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was going somewhere good when he was talking about his marathon, which I am pretty sure is 100% fake, but the jury doesn't know that. And the fact that he can no longer do that. When you're talking through your damages to a jury, you want to tell them about how whatever the incident is has affected your life going forward. And if he was an avid marathon runner, that's what he did in his free time. That was his hobby. That was his passion. And he can no longer do that because both of his legs and both of his arms are broken. That's important. Now, begging for your dead grandmother and the fact that you cannot make good on her wishes in live court and bursting into tears, no, absolutely not. If I were SpongeBob, I would be objecting, saying that that is substantially more prejudicial than it is probative. And that simply means that that outburst serves to prejudice the jury against my client, Mr. Krabs, more than it actually adds probative value that has some substance. And that would probably be stricken from the record because you just can't do all that.
Thank you for your kind attention, suckers.
Does the defense?
Okay, do you see what I mean? The entire jury just burst into tears and the judge is wiping her face. No. See, first of all, if this was real life and this was allowed to happen, Plankton has it. Like, he won with that statement alone. But again, you guys can see why this would be prejudicial to the jury to allow something like this to come into evidence. This is insane. This is crazy.
Have an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor. Poor Graham!
Mr. Krabs, can you identify this item?
It's a wet floor sign.
Do you own one?
No, I don't. No, you don't understand. I had to make some tough business decisions and the sign seemed superfluous.
Guilty.
No more questions.
Your witness, Mr. Lawyer Pants.
No, literally? Listen, you guys, I never support somebody representing themselves, especially if they're going all the way to trial, but Plankton? Mwah. Chef's kiss. My guy said, what is this? A wet floor sign? Do you own one? No further questions. Like, I couldn't have done it better myself. And you heard the jury shouting guilty, 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 even though this is a civil case. So technically you wouldn't be finding Mr. Krabs guilty. You'd be finding him liable. But regardless, the jury is completely against him right now. So SpongeBob better have something really good in this briefcase.
Huh?
Sometime today, Mr. Pants.
May it please the court, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client has been called cheap, miserly, and chronically tight-fisted. But if he were as cheap as the prosecution claims he is, would he be able to sit there quietly while I took out $1 and dropped it in the blender?
Daddy's got you. Daddy's got you. Daddy's here.
Okay. So, first of all, the writers of SpongeBob are confusing a criminal case with a civil case because, again, we are in the civil context when it comes to suing someone. Plankton is not pressing charges. He is bringing a civil lawsuit. Therefore, Plankton is not the prosecution. He is the plaintiff. But that aside, what SpongeBob was trying to do was utilize a demonstrative aid. And that is typically something that would be rehearsed with the witness ahead of time so that they don't, I don't know, jump off of the witness stand and start screaming like Mr. Krabs did. SpongeBob should have rehearsed that with Mr. Krabs ahead of time, which again, I know he didn't have the opportunity to, but in a perfect world, he would have. And that would have probably been a fake dollar so that Mr. Krabs would have been able to control himself.
A little glue, a little tape, you'll be right as rain. Daddy didn't forget you.
Does the defense have any witness to call?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls Squidward to the stand.
Oh, great.
Squidward, a loyal employee.
So loyal.
Squidward, is it? My client has been called cheap. Would you agree with that ludicrous statement?
Yes.
What?
Allow me to rephrase the question. Can you tell the court of some instance of Mr. Krabs' generosity in any way?
Nope. Can I go now? 1 day off in 3 years and I have to spend it testifying?
Y'all. He's a goner.
Bust open case.
You better.
So, it was you who made the floor slippery, wasn't it?
Is this the...
Answer the question! Need I remind you that you, sir, are under oath?
I'm doomed.
He has the mop on the
You may
witness
as
stand.
well give up on that case, my boy. My goose is cooked.
Mr. Krabs, I'm surprised at you. We can't give up just because things look bleak.
They look
this
really
trial
bleak.
will be won by what's in your heart, not
There's
what's
not
in
much in
this
his heart.
dumb old case. It's open.
It's just his lunch. Or is it?
Okay. Prediction. Going back to the very beginning of this video where I talked about a motive. SpongeBob's sole course of action he can take right now that I can foresee is proving to the jury that Plankton had an ulterior motive in becoming injured in the manner in which he did. If SpongeBob can prove that prior to Plankton coming in and getting injured, he had a motive to try and obtain this secret formula and that he was willing to go to any lengths to do it, including faking an injury, he may have something. He may have something.
Defense calls Plankton to the stand. Why did you go into the Krusty Krab that day?
To, say hello to my once good friend, Mr. Krabs. What?
Are you sure it wasn't to make off with one of these? Gotcha. Weren't you there to steal the formula of the most delicious, sweet-smelling sandwich known to Bikini Bottom? Krabby Patty.
He's sweating now.
I can't take it! Gimme! Yippee! Finally, it's mine!
I'll take that.
Huh? No!
Once again,
Sir.
Plankton, the sweetest of life's joys has eluded your grasp.
Okay. I don't think you guys need legal commentary on that. I think anybody with eyes and ears can understand exactly what just happened there. And I'm gonna give it to Mr. Bottom Feeder. I'm gonna give it to Attorney Bottom Feeder, okay? Because he knew he needed just one piece of evidence, just a sole piece of evidence to prove his case. And he did that. Thank God SpongeBob got that briefcase open because Plankton literally gave up his entire facade for absolutely no reason. If I were a jury, I would be pissed, and if I were a judge, I would award sanctions. I'm not sure if you can, but I would be upset about Plankton wasting every single member of the jury's time and the court's precious time as well.
No!
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
They didn't even need to
We
deliberate.
find the defendant not guilty,
Not
but
liable.
he is cheap.
Thank you, SpongeBob. I was foolish not to accept your help from the beginning.
That's
You
okay,
weren't.
Mr. Krabs. I made you a present.
A present for me?
Close your eyes and hold
Is
out
it a
your
wet floor
hand.
sign?
It's a wet floor sign. I made it myself.
Well, it'll do. After all, it's free.
Wow. I mean, beautiful, beautiful episode. While there were multiple aspects of this trial that were not the most realistic, I think for it being a 10.5-minute episode, this was a beautiful explanation of what a trial could look like. You saw that the plaintiff was winning throughout 90% of it. He was telling a story. He was compelling. He got emotion driven. He was winning. Like, plaintiff was 100% about to win this thing. But at the last second, one piece of evidence, my friends, one piece of evidence could change everything. Needless to say, if you do end up faking an injury to try to get some quick cash from someone, a lot of the times the truth will come out, and it's not a good idea. And dear God, Mr. Krabs, please use that wet floor sign. Thank you guys so much for watching this reaction video, and if you have not seen my Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney video game playthrough series here on YouTube, be sure to check it out. I play as Phoenix Wright, a defense attorney whose sole mission thus far in the few cases I've done has been to get his clients off who have been accused of murder. We go through a full-blown investigation. We go through a trial with a lot more detail, and it's been really, really fun to play. And I'm glad you guys have been enjoying watching it too. So be sure to check out those videos if you have not already. I will have the playlist linked down below. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye, and go thrive.